The dictionary defines an event as anything that happens or is regarded as happening. Today I'm going to expand on a day in the life of August 1962. Interesting, while gathering information, pop stars is still the leading important fact. 1962 brings you the unfortunate death of Marilyn Monroe. The continued worsening of the Cold War, Russia placing ballistic missiles on Cuban land. Folk music evolving into protest music, with Bob Dylan being the artist. Birth of surf music with the Beach Boys. And in England, the Beatles, Love Me Do. Pop stars, 1962. Marilyn Monroe, born June 1926 and died August 1962. She had an unfortunate childhood in and out of many foster homes. She was a model, an American actress, and a singer. Her last movie was 1961 with co-star Clark Gable, called The Misfits. The screenplay was written by her husband, Arthur Miller. Marilyn's life was full of illness, personal problems, and the death from an overdose. The Cold War, 1962 to 1979. It followed the aftermath of the Cuban Missile Crisis. Talk in early July ended with Russia's Khrushchev and Cuba's Fidel Castro agreeing to place nuclear missiles on Cuban land to deter the harassment of Cuba. The United States demands removal of the missiles. Following tense negotiations between Khrushchev and Kennedy, the Soviets publicly dismantled their defensive weapons on Cuban land. In exchange, the U.S. publicly declared not to invade Cuba without direct provocation. Music of 1962. Folk music is considered protest music. Folk music was considered traditional music at the time. Bob Dylan's music in 1962 was often referred to during the protests of 1962. The music is influenced by American radical traditions, artists such as the Wobblies, the Popular Front, and the Beat, dating back to the 1950s. Basically, this music fomented young people's value on civil rights and ban the bomb movement. Songs engaged the terror of nuclear arms, poverty, racism, and war. Surf music became popular with California surfers discovered music that included Fender guitars, electric pianos, and saxophone. The instruments played a surf music vibe. Light harmonies, tunes, led by Brian Wilson, who was the only non-surfer of the group. It was a perfect soundtrack for endless surf trips through the California sun. Music in England, the popularity of the Beatles began. They debuted at the Cavern Club. They were formerly known as the Quarrymen. The group included John Lennon, Paul McCartney, George Harrison, and Pete Best. They were first seen by Brian Epstein. Epstein later became their manager and secured their first record contract. Pete Best was replaced by Ringo Starr. This was followed by chants and taunts of Pete Forever, Ringo Never. The female fans consider Best to be very good looking. However, he wouldn't conform to the hairstyle, therefore he was replaced. So it says. Conclusion, the life in the 1960s. Students demand reform, desegregation, unrestricted free speech, and withdrawal from war. They protested materialism, consumerism, and they challenged the traditions surrounding marriage and sex. They argued that all paths should have a deeper fulfillment, should be justified, including illicit drugs. Late in the 1960s, remains. The era created what critics state as the welfare state, immoral, self-indulged citizens. Defenders will state that the political and social institutions were more just and culture was more healthy. Life in the 60s, fighting for truth, justice, and the American way. Student protests, they did advance civil rights. They transformed the culture in the American colleges. Americans' workplaces were more diverse, poverty reduced. In 1969, the U.S. landed a man on the moon. Thank you.